The Niners are playing the Chiefs. The Niners aren't exactly what they were in the Super Bowl. Chiefs aren't exactly what they were in the Super Bowl. Which team has taken bigger hits to their roster?
It's interesting because I think a lot of the conversation, and this is natural. Like we're fans of the 49ers. You're not, but we, the fans, we are fans of the 49ers, and we look across and we're trying to find chinks in the armor, and we're looking at it going, oh, well, the Chiefs are clearly worse than they were in the Super Bowl, and they were already a down team. Like, this is our chance. And I look at it and say, yeah, that's true, but the 49ers are worse off than what they were in the Super Bowl as well. I mean, if we're just keeping it real, they don't have CMC. They still don't have Greenlaw, and we saw what happened in the second half of that game without Greenlaw. They don't have the veteran in Gibson. They've got a rookie in Mustafa. That's great. But both their starting defensive tackles from that game are not here. So, yeah, the 49ers might be a little worse off as well. Now they're better at the offensive line. I think the receiving core, even though it should be deeper, might be a little worse. The names are the same for the 49ers, but it's, so I don't know,
Is
man.
Debo better? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that Debo's better. I don't know that Ayuk's better. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
have you mentioned 23?
I did. CMC was, yeah. I mentioned.
Okay.
I mentioned
just making sure, because he's kind of important.
He's kind of a big deal. Yeah. So there are areas where the 49ers are better now. It's not all doom and gloom. They're better in the secondary. They are better at
the Niners
offensive line. Pooney, yeah, better offensive line.
Better secondary.
I think they are. Corner.
Travaris Ward's having a tough year. I'm a big fan, but he said he's having a tough year. PFF says he's having a horrible year.
Yeah.
Also, not to bag on Travaris, because he's like he's not the least of their problems, but to me, look, Devondre Campbell having an awful year, but according to PFF, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles having a much worse year. Two of the worst linebackers in the league, and they're often on the field together. That's not ideal against Andy Reid with 2 weeks to prepare.
It's not. But now let's look at the Chiefs. Let's look at where they're better and where they're worse. Obviously, Pacheco's gone. Obviously, Rashee Rice is gone, so they're worse in both of those areas. I think the receiver number 2 is better. I'll take Xavier Worthy over MVS any day of the week.
Yeah.
Their offensive line, believe it or not, is better, because if you remember, Joe Thuney tore his bicep or his pec or something and was unable to play in that game. He's an all-pro player.
Yep.
So now he's back. He's playing. So they're better there. I think their defensive depth is better. Last year, that defensive line was missing 2 starters, and they had to go. They literally picked up somebody off their practice squad to play and start in that game on the defensive line. So I think their defense has more depth, although the pure talent and L'Jarius Sneed not being there, maybe that's a little bit less. I think the 49ers might be worse off compared to what they were last year in the Super Bowl than the 49ers or than the Chiefs, though. CMC is a big deal, man. CMC is a big deal. And I think that defensive line's a big deal. So for me, I'll slightly go 49ers, although I think both teams are slightly worse than they were last year.
Yeah. I thought the Niners were better than the Chiefs last year, and that's why that Super Bowl loss was rough, because the Niners had a better roster. But now that they've lost the offensive player of the year, and we've seen what the loss of Dre Greenlaw has done to their defense. Man, if the Niners can find a way to beat the Chiefs,
that'd be huge.
Without McCaffrey, and they couldn't beat him with them, I would just have to question everything I know about time, space, the whole continuum.
All of it. Okay.
It wouldn't make sense, but that's football though. Like, there's turnovers, anything happen any given Sunday. Maybe it'll be one of those games, but if the Niners just go out there and execute, and they're a machine in a way they couldn't beat 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals, okay, you know what? I'll just stop. Maybe I'll just retire at that point. You have my word. I'll just retire. I won't understand. No, what I'll do is I'll praise the Niners. I'll praise the Niners if they find a way to do it. What an accomplishment that would be.
Yeah, and I don't think, here's the thing is the 49ers to me are going to be in this game. It's not like they're going to get mollywopped. They're not going to get blown out of this game. They're going to be in it. So they're going to have a chance to win. They will have a chance to win this game. Can they execute down the stretch? Can they make the plays that are necessary? That's going to be, that's the real question. But they'll be in this game. They'll have their chances.
Is the question execution, or is the question the genius? Because to me, the issue with the Chiefs is that you can't blow them out. You can't. They're too good. They're going to be in one-score games. And in one-score games, Kyle historically isn't great. And Andy Reid, well, Patrick Mahomes is freaking the best. So that's a rough matchup.
That's the thing is Kansas City doesn't blow anybody out anymore really either. And so they're constantly in these games. Like they're talk about battle tested and being ready for these moments. They're in these games every single week, and yet they find a way to win every single week. They know how to play in this environment. They expect it to be a one-score game with minutes left on the clock and either have to make a defensive stop or go score on the offensive side of the ball. They are used to playing that brand of football. The 49ers are not. They either blow somebody out or they just lose those close games. You know what I mean? Like there's not really any in between with the 49ers. They rarely win the close games. It's usually a blowout, and they're not going to blow the Chiefs out, just like the Chiefs aren't going to blow them out. So who's more battle tested for this moment of a close game? It's the Chiefs. They just are. It doesn't mean they're going to execute this time, but they are ready for it.